Hello, everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Denise, and tonight I am going to be rehoming and redecorating my female regal jumping spiders enclosure. This is my first time doing this, so I have no idea what I'm doing, and I am nervous. So, with that being said, if you are new to keeping, regal jumping spiders, tarantulas, well, you're going to be having a lot of fun with these guys. They are really fun to have around. So, once again, welcome and let's get going. So, what I like to do is I don't like to use dirt. A lot of people say dirt is the main component. I don't believe that. One, because it is messy. Two, of course, because it's actually kind of hard, at least in my opinion, to have to clean. And if you're on a budget, especially if you're on a budget, it's not cheap because you're using, cocoa fiber and they give the really big things. They have small ones, but it's still pretty expensive. It's actually hard to pull apart for the first time. So, yeah, it's not really fun for me to use. So I want something simple, something that is going to be easy to clean. Humidity, another big thing that you want to make sure you have because they need it when it's time to molt. If they're having, babies, you want to keep it at a certain temperature. So I like to use moss, and this is actually fake moss, and it actually pulls apart, and it's a lot easier in terms of cleaning, and I'll go through that as well towards the end. So right now, I'm just going to start making a home. Make sure you have your decorations, um, hides. I got this at Goodwill for like 5, 6 bucks. Um, so you definitely, this is actually an enclosure I got off of Amazon, and it did come with decorations and whatnot. It was a little kit. Um, and it came with this little hide and this little platform along with some other decor. And these all have magnets, so which is a lot easier to deal with. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my moss. I'm going to move this over to the side a little bit. Okay, so you have your moss, and as you can see, it's kind of all over the place. So I take my spray bottle, and I'm just going to spray it, make sure it's in your hand, and kind of just spray it down. This actually helps if you want it to be a certain size or a certain way. It makes it easier to kind of scrunch up um, and mold it into the shape that you want. I also got this off Amazon, so yeah, cheap price. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this on the bottom. As you can see, it's not exactly shaped the way that I want it. So what I like to do, once again, spray bottle, spray, 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 make it nice and damp. And then you could just take, a spray bottle, a bottle, Diet Coke, bottled water, and I kind of just like to squeeze it on down or push it down. And that's mainly to get it into the shape I want and to make sure it's actually filling the entire bottom. Um, Try not to pull it apart once you have it into the shape that you want. That of course would be fun to have to deal with later. Um, so I'll turn it around so you guys can see. Another thing you want to do, I don't have it with me, is maybe a little washcloth because you kind of don't want to wet the areas here. So I'm going to go ahead and pause the video real quick and get a cloth. Okay, got my cloth. I knew I forgot something. this happened to be it. So I'm going to go ahead and just dry off the backs and the sides. If you have a brand new enclosure, definitely be aware that if you missed, and I'm going to go through that as well, do not miss the cage itself. Do what you can to just spray the moss and the decorations. Reason for that, of course, is as you can see, I have a bunch of water spots, and I don't like water spots. They're hard to, remove because you can't use Windex or anything like that. And of course, they are rubbers, but you also want to be able to see the rubbing and see them. So if you can, don't spray the actual cage. Okay, so uh, the bottom, as you can see, is pretty much done. What I like to do once I have it in all areas is kind of check the corners as well. This corner seems to be okay, but if you look in this corner, it's kind of up some and it's not completely forward. So what I'm going to do is just turn it towards me and just kind of push it apart in the middle. Always start from the middle and work your way to the sides. Make sure that everything is in the way you want and it is nice and it is flat. Okay, so that of course is the first area. Now you don't want to decorate this area as of yet with decor. I always kind of like to wait to the end to see what you kind of have to do. Um, so depending on how much moss you use will depend on if your items that you have that are actually magnetic, and the magnet's actually in here. Um, and as you can see, if you put it in, there you go. Now, the thing with moss is that if you put too much in, when the time comes to put your I can't talk now, your decor in, it won't work because the magnets will not be able to reach each other. So, first thing you want to do if you have magnets is to put your decorations in. Yes, I am nervous. It's my first time, so yeah, what can I say? So I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna put this in. As you can see, she kind of already has a rub in there. So I don't want to mess with that. So I'm just gonna go ahead and put that in. And I'm going to make sure that it's in the place that I want. Best way to do that, don't stick your hand in and move it unless you have to. It's just to take the magnet itself and just kind of move it up or move it down or wherever you want. So in this case, I think I actually kind of want it in the middle. So I'm kind of gonna put it, yeah, that looks good. So I'll put it there in the middle. And that's how I'm gonna keep it. I'm not gonna mess with it. I'm not gonna move it around. I will just leave it at that. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is if you have other things that you have with, you want to put in that has magnets, this is another one. This came with the kit. And this is actually a cute little platform that they can sit on. For this, I don't know where I'm going to put it yet, so I'm not going to mess with it. So what I'm going to do now is go ahead and put the moss in the back. Now, the one thing I usually try not to do is cover up the vents because they are going to need these vents, for ventilation, to breathe. You don't want to cover them up and suffocate them. So you do have to kind of be careful. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take my spray bottle and I'm just going to spray. And this actually is a lot better when it comes to doing humidity. It keeps it longer. So I'm going to just go ahead and I'm going to put this over the hide. But at the same time, I want to make sure, of course, that the hide is showing. So I'm going to kind of make my way. Oops. It's too big, so I'm going to just kind of pull it apart, and it's easy to do. Kind of just pull it apart. Kind of just squeeze it with your hand. Or if you want to kind of just roll it, you can too, and it pretty much sticks. So I'm going to put this around the hide. Now another thing that you can do, because a lot of times it won't stick around the hide. So what you can do, and what I actually am going to do, oops, with this, move this out of the way, so I'm kind of going to take this, and I'm just going to wrap it up in the moss the way I want it. And she can still get in and out, but it has a nice little greenery effect to it. So kind of get it in there, kind of make it all nice and comfy. And I'm going to go ahead and put it back in the middle. Now, as you can see, it didn't stick, so what you want to do is kind of to the back, make sure there's a little hole. You still want it to cover it, but you also want to make sure that you can put the magnet and have it stick. Once you do that, there you go. And it's right back in. So it looks like it's covering the hole a little bit, so I'm going to just kind of move it back. And there we go. Now the hide has a nice little greenery effect to it. And then I'm going to take more green moss. Yeah, I know it's a lot of moss, but moss is really, really a lot better to look at. So, and it's easier to deal with. When cleaning, I actually cleaned my cages out today. I have 3 jumping spiders. 1 is with dirt, 2 is with the moss, and it's actually easy to see where the dead crickets are. Now, there is a con when it comes to this and crickets, or even with mealworms if you use them. They can dig into this and you will never see them again. So what I like to do is I actually give my tarantulas, I don't feed them every week. They can go for about a month without food for tarantulas, so I feed them twice a month, every 2 weeks. They will get a total of 10 to 15. 20 if I have a busy week schedule. My uncle came, so we were going to be out every day. I was going to be able to really deal with them. So I gave them a few extra, and yeah, it lasts for a whole week and 2 weeks even, depends. I've never had them be injured by them, which is what a lot of people tend to say, but I've never had it happen. For regals, they get the pinheads and they get 5, and that pretty much lasts a week, depending upon how hungry they get. 3 to 5 is what I actually should say. And then they decide, oh, hey, I'm hungry, so yeah, let's get some to eat. Kind of like takeout for us, they just hunt. So back to the video. I am kind of mumbling here. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna add the greenery to each side, not for the vents, of course, but just for the sides in the back, because as you can see, there's a lot of open space here. And I don't want her to kind of get in between the two, especially with that magnet there. So I'm technically just kind of watching out for her. Use my spray bottle, of course. Make sure that it is good and damp because it makes it a lot easier to shape. Okay. And then I just simply take my hands and just kind of push it back to where I want it. And of course, that's pushing the hide in too. So you might actually have to put this down on the side Um, you may even have to kind of take the top off. These, I actually like these cages a lot more than most cages, just because they use, and my hand is wet, so it's harder to get off. These actually use little rubber bands, and these do not break, and they're a lot easier to deal with than having to stick in little pins and kind of tie them together, and they don't want to stick or do anything. So I kind of like these a lot better. So I'm going to go ahead and take them off, and I'm going to take this top off just so I can get, pretty much to where I need to be and get everything settled in properly. Okay, bands are off, top is off. Okay, so here we go. So I'm going to put this a little lower. Okay, so as you can see, that this end is actually bigger, and it's kind of pushing the hide out of the place I wanted it to be. So I'm going to go ahead and stick it up and just kind of move it around, make sure the height is where I want it to be, and then just kind of just use my hands to pull it apart and get one side where I want it. And that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to take a smaller piece, and yes, I pre-made these. Go ahead and put this up a little bit. I did pre-make these, so that way I can do this video. I'm going to go ahead and spray this again. Make sure you get all angles. There's a little tip falling, so just kind of squeeze it together. Get it into a thinner area. Okay. Just gonna put this on the other side. Yeah, that happens a lot. You kind of have to play around with it to get it to really stick the way you want it to. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of, yeah, you will have problems with it when you first start to use it. So go ahead and push it in. Make sure that it's not covering the hole for the decor. Okay, so that pretty much looks good. Of course, I want to add a little more, to the top. As you can see, this area right here is empty. So I'm going to go ahead and just take another piece and just kind of break it apart. Kind of make sure it's, there we go, that looks good. Roll it in my hands a little bit. I also pre-soaked these, so it's a lot easier to deal with. Okay, take this, cut it, make it longer, and just set it on top. So, once again, you want to make sure that the height itself is being able to be seen. Okay, that looks good. So that's what it pretty much looks like. As you can see, there's some sticking out right around here, so I'm just gonna push it in. And as you can see, once again, it likes to make itself be a hassle. A lot of times when that happens, just spray it down again. Makes it heavier, makes it stay longer through the bottom too. Okay, that is looking good. If you want, I have this little decor that I'm going to be using. I'll just gently place it on the sides, on the bottom, kind of just push it in. Okay, so that's done. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to wipe the sides because, like I said, keeping, you know, the sides wet is not a good idea if you actually want to see your baby and at any time. So I'm going to go ahead and get this area too. Okay, that looks pretty good. Go ahead and put the side up again. As you can see, it does have a tendency to keep falling. That's okay. As long as everything is in the right spot in terms of decorations and she's able to get in and out. So it's giving me some problems today, as you can see. So I'm going to go ahead and just redo this one side. Yes, I am a firm believer that if you're going to do it right the first time. Um, kind of make sure everything is where you want it to be. Because, once a week cleaning, you don't have to take all this out. You can, but you don't have to. And I'm going to explain that towards the end of the video. So I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so that is now done. Go ahead and bring it closer. You have the hide and you have the green uh, moss around it. Yeah, I'm kind of out of it too. Okay, so that is completely done. Now we're going to work on the bottom, which is always the worst part, at least for me. So the one thing you want to do, of course, is make sure that you have your decorations ready to go. I have them all on the side. And if you want to know where I got these, hit me up and I will give you the link for Amazon. This stuff is pretty cheap, so, it's interesting. Yeah, so I got these cute little moss balls, which are really, really cute. I'm going to put these in the front. Now, this is for mealworms. See if I can get it in. And this also has the magnets, and this kind of just goes on the side. It's a good way to train them to say, hey, it's time to eat. Come and get it. Does not work on crickets. So I have this little Japanese statue thingy, and a lot of this actually came with it. These I was told they glow in the dark. They do not, but they're little like coral. So I'll go ahead and use these. I got little tiny mushrooms. They're really, really cute. I have one that's green. I have one that's pink. And there is also a little purple. And of course, we have the little platform that we're going to be using. Another little, there, sea thing. I don't know. And I also got some seashells. Seashells are really nice to have. It kind of gives it a better feel and really, really nice decor. And of course, the hide. Now, if you want, you can put the moss on the bottom or on the top. It gives them a extra hiding spot, which is a good thing to have. So, um, I also have these little greenery plants. This actually came with it, and they came with 2, 3, and of course this one as well. So that's something else. Yeah, I got some other ones too. If you have tarantulas, builder dragons, anything that you use for, with the plants that they have at pet shops. The plastic ones, of course, you can use real, but I don't do that. You have the option of actually being able to pull, and as you can see, there's actually a little hole, pull them out of the actual plant so you can use them separately. And if you want, you can always put them back in when you're done. So I actually like using these. Uh, Depending on the size of the enclosure, you can even use a little hamster um, tunnels. This is actually too big for this, so I'm not going to use this. So you don't want to forget a little twig. You definitely want something they can climb on. A little water dish, which is also magnetic. And of course, the temperature gauge is definitely something you will need. All right, so I'm going to put this a little to the side. Take these decorations and kind of put them to the side as well because we're not ready to use them. Okay, so that's done. All right, so we're going to actually start with this. Like I said, I got it for Goodwill. They have a lot of different things you can use. Even places like Walmart that sells like toys, those little tiny furnitures, you can use them as well. I actually love this. I thought it was cute, so yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take, yeah, more moss, and I'm just going to cover up the top and make sure it's kind of even. Kind of have it hanging down on the sides. And you can always put some inside, you don't have to, it just depends. Um, I might put just a little teeny tiny amount in, just on the bottom, not the top. So I'm going to go ahead and break this apart a little more. Okay. And then just kind of do little rubbings across your hands. Make sure it's nice and thin. And then just kind of stuff it in there. Yeah. Now you don't have to really push it down or anything. It's more of a decor type thing. And if you want, you can add, like a little plant. I think I'll use this and kind of just have it laying on the side. And that's pretty much what it will look like. So make sure it looks good on the top, on the sides. And then I am simply going to put it here on the bottom. Okay, so it takes up about half the space, kind of push it down some as well. Um, okay, so that's what it looks like. So now we're going to take these little Mars balls. I'm basically just going to put them on this side, one on each side. There we go. And of course, her little stick. With this, I think I'm just going to put it to the side and kind of have it sticking out. Okay. Wow, it's looking so good. I'm loving it. I could do this for a job and I'd be happy. Yeah, don't mind me, I'm crazy. So what I'm gonna do now, actually I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna kind of move the moss back some from the top. Now you can leave it, but the thing is that when you start to put the decor in, it's kind of going to go blah. Every time you move it, it's gonna fall over. Very fun. So I'm gonna take this little seashell, and it has a little magnet on the bottom. Make sure this is sitting down right, and I'm simply going to put that there in the middle. Take one of my little magnets. Come on. And yeah, they are hard to pull apart if they end up together, so that's of course something that you want to watch out for. So I'm going to go ahead and take the magnet and kind of just hold apparently it's the other side, kind of just put it there. And then it's not going to be so easy to fall over. And you can move it just like the hide. Okay, so that's going to be in the middle. Okay, so I think we're going to do the little Japanese. Now, these don't have magnets, so you do want to be careful that they don't end up falling, but I think that if you push it into the moss, kind of helps it to stay in one spot because it does kind of wrap around them. And then I think we're going to do a couple of little mushrooms. So we'll do a mushroom on that side. We'll do a mushroom on this side. Okay. Now, next. I don't think we're going to really have room for some of this other stuff I showed. So we will not deal with that. As for these other little plants, you can just stick them kind of in the ground. And as you can see, once again, they like to fall. So the moss is not always easy to deal with. so, uh, so we're almost done. Kind of make sure it sticks. Okay. Now, we are going to do the little worm dish. Now, this is for worms. So I do mealworms and I do crickets for her. Um, I'm not sure if ratworms are a good thing. Hornworms, I'm not sure. Tarantulas, yeah, it's not going to be a problem. But I'm not really sure when it comes to jumping spiders. I've had one in the past and I lost her to a moat, and that was like 5, 6, 7 years ago. So I am back in the saddle again, so to speak. And I'm going to use this little because I kind of like the little tail at the end. I'm going to put that on this side. Just kind of stick it in. Okay, that is looking really, really good now. Okay, so next would be the other technical thing she needs. So the worm dish and the water dish is basically what she will need. And what I like to do is keep it in a place that she can get to. They like being on top, so I'm kind of not going to put it on the top because I kind of want it in the middle where, I can see, oh, it needs to be refilled, that kind of thing. So I'm going to get rid of this other stuff I'm not going to use. I'm going to go ahead and put the top back on. So I'll go ahead, put this on, make sure everything is set, and it's the other way. Oops, come on. Okay, there we go. Word of advice. Anyone who is new to using these types of enclosures, I like these a lot better, like I said, because of the little rubber bands that they don't break and they're easier to use. One thing you want to make sure that you deal with, no matter what, is to make sure that each on every single one of those little pop-up shelves is what I like to call them. They all have a little rubber band with them because if you're not careful, they will come up, and then next thing you know, you have a cage that is breaking apart on you, and that's never a good thing. So that is what the cage looks like. It is now done. I just have to add three more things. And that, of course, would be the water dish, the worm dish, and of course, we don't want to forget the temperature gauge. I am actually waiting for my other temperatures to get in here. I've never had them for my tarantulas, and I actually used this one yesterday. And I have done it in that one, and I decided, well, I'm going to compare the two. Now, this could be because it's a smaller enclosure, but it's basically the same kind of like plastic. Her temperature got up to 92 within 15 minutes. And the green bottle blue, I'm not so sure that's a really, really like good stable temp. Um, and I just, I left it alone and I went to bed around, I think around 2:30. I double checked again and it was still like 90. So you do have to be careful, of course, with the temperatures for all of your pets. So that's something you want to think about. Um, so her little, I'm going to go ahead, turn this around, and I'm going to put her little, oops, her little platform. Now, I think I'm going to put it on this side, and I'm going to put it towards the top. So it's kind of, because I have a lot of stuff, I'm going to actually put it on the other side. Um, because it's kind of on an angle, which is, yeah, never a good thing to do. They do tend to turn around even with the magnet on. So I'm going to go ahead, put the magnet on. And like I said, once you have it in place, you could just move it up or down to where you want it. So I'm going to kind of move this. And yeah, that's pretty much where I'm going to put it. So it's not too far from her hide, but it's also not too close. So, okay, now the worm dish, I think because, I mean, it might be a little crowded, but I kind of like it that way. I don't know. Um, I kind of like to see her when she comes to hunt. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna take her worm dish. Let's see. Yeah, that's good. Actually, I think I'm gonna do her water first. So I'm gonna put her water on this side and just kind of have it on the down low, right around where the top of the little desk thingy is, or shelf, or whatever you want to call it. So I'm gonna put it right there. And then what I'm gonna do is on the other side, I'm gonna go ahead towards the bottom and put her little food dish. So I'm gonna turn this around. Okay, move that shelving back some. Take my little magnet. And generally, it has two places. I don't have any extras. The one actually broke on me, and how that happened, I don't know. So I don't know if I could still use it or not. Maybe I can. Um, yeah, I don't. I thought I had all the magnets here, but I guess I don't have any more. So, I might be able to just take the one from the seashell and kind of use the broken one to know it. Oops. And of course, I just fell somewhere. There it is. And I did not bring my tweezers out. Okay, but I'll just use the other half then. Um, so just kind of, okay, so it looks like that will work. Um, okay, so that's what it looks like now. So now I just need to do the temperature gauge. But before I do that, a lot of people probably say, well, about cleaning. So I technically do not clean the cages out except for once a month. That's when I will take everything out. And of course, clean anything that needs to be done. Their poop is pretty much white. So what I like to do is kind of go through and see if I see any. I will take it out and kind of see if I see any dirty spots on it. If so, I would just kind of take the strand that has it, the two strands, and I'll just pull it out and throw it away. Which is why I like this so much. It's easier to deal with when cleaning and just, basic housekeeping. Um, the cons to using this, like I said, if you use pinhead crickets, now they can take a large cricket. One cricket just every couple of weeks is what I've seen with her, and she does fine. Worms, you want to keep them in here, but if she picks it up and, takes it to her little hide or, excuse me, or her home or somewhere else, and she decides, oh, I'm going to drop it, you do want to double check, to see if there's anything in there. So that's why I do it once a month. If they're there, they're not going to really do anything. They're not going to harm anything. They're not going to, hey, I have a leftover, let's go for it. No, they don't do that. Once it's dead, eaten, they drop it, that's it. So once a month, or at least once or twice a month, just take out everything, take the moss out, and check the moss. Everything else, and try not to disturb the wearing if you can. She had some rubbing here on the top that unfortunately is hard to keep, when you try to take everything out and clean and do everything else. So I kind of feel bad for that, but what are you gonna do? So, everything is pretty much done. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to put the top on. Go ahead and I'm gonna just clean this off a little bit. I just go sides. And take the towel, dry it off. Yeah. Okay, so get the water off the table. Okay, so that's the top. So go ahead and now this, I like these because of the fact of how it opens. So you want to go ahead and get these in the slots. So these go in the side. You kind of have to play with them. The reason why I like these cages better than some of my other ones is because it opens to the top. I do have others that just have, like open doors. Those are not good because they come with little pins that you kind of have to stick in one side, and then you have like a little screw thingy, and you have to kind of push it in. And I've had a lot of trouble because they keep popping out, and yeah, it's not good when you have a, green bottle blue, oops, I gotta pick up the gauge, and you kind of forget. So, and then these kind of just go down, push down, and it closes. So these are actually a lot better. Amazon, I can give you the link, like I said, if you want them. Okay, so to end this video, I am going to go ahead and put the temperature, and these are actually really nice because these are also magnetic. So I kind of like to put these on the top because that's where they spend the most time. So I will put it all the way up to the top. And I don't have another magnet, unfortunately. So I think I'm gonna have to, yeah. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna take the water dish out for now. I have magnets in my room if I need them. So I'm just gonna go ahead and use this magnet instead. So I will go ahead. I like to put them in the middle and all the way up to the top. Okay. And the good thing about these is that if it kind of falls down on one side, you can kind of just take the magnet to just, move them up to the top. And they will pretty much go along with it. Oh, well, this one likes to give me trouble sometimes. But yeah, you get the picture. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on the top. Oh, there we go. It's on the top. So I'm going to close this and get an idea of how much the temperature is right now. And right now it's at 54. So I'll just leave it at that. Um, I'm going to go ahead and put some of this away. I highly recommend getting a dropper. Um, that's basically for these little water dishes. It makes it a lot easier to deal with. So, uh, let's bring her out and put her into a new home. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And as you can see, the temperature stays where it needs to be. I'm going to go ahead and just move it to the side a little bit. Oops. Okay. There we go. So right now I have her in a little container. Baby girl. You might need to do like a little deli cup. These actually came in the water dishes that I got. So yeah, I like to use them just to get them going. So I'm gonna go ahead, see where she is. I'm gonna carefully open this up because I don't want her to dash out. And of course there's some rubbing, so it looks like she's been busy. Just to give you an idea of what she looks like. There she is. Oop. She is a cutie. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and, well, I don't know if she'll go on my hand yet. No, she's backing up. So I'm going to go ahead and get her into this little deli cup. So I'm just going to kind of wait for her to, I'm going to cover the top so she can't really go anywhere. Come on, baby girl. Come on, baby girl. And she is kind of stubborn. Um, so I'm trying to get her to, come on, come on. Yeah, she is very, very stubborn. And up, I think she's going in. Yeah, she's kind of iffy on going in, which I can't really blame her. She's been stuck in here for a while. So let me see if I could just get her maybe to come on my hand. Come on, baby. You've done this before. So I got her November 5th of last year. And, she's kind of iffy still when it comes to being, on my hand. So I kind of end up having to follow her around and kind of get her to be guided to my hand. Come on. Of course, I don't want to stress her out either. So I might just let her come out on her own. So I'll go ahead and see if I can get her on my hand. Yeah, there we go. Come on. Come on. Always have a catch cup. That way, if they do try anything, come on. Oh, you're so close. You're so close. There we go. There we go. Oh, now she's on the table. That's why you need a catch cup. In this case, I could just use my hand. She's not gonna do anything too crazy on me. Yeah, come on, that's it. Go on my hand. Yeah, there you go. There you go. So she is teeny tiny. No, she goes again. She does like to jump. She is a little jumper. Um, See if I could kind of get her to be on camera. Oops. Oops. So there she is. I. So she is just a baby. I'm just going to use my hands to kind of make sure she doesn't get away. But a catch cup is always a good thing. Yeah, come on. Let's get you in your cage, huh? Come on. There you go. So she is still, like I said, Mom, get the cat off the table. She is still new on being on my hand. And oop, there she is. My other female, I'm going to go ahead and put her in. You don't want to go in now? So this is, hopefully you can see that. Just put my hand here in case she, oh, there she goes. She is pretty quick. They are very fast. I actually lost her and found her the next day on my ceiling. So I'm gonna go ahead and get her to go back in. Go on. There you go. Get her back into the enclosure. Just so you can. There she is. She's already heading up. She does kind of tend to like to be on the top if she's not in a little hide. So, yeah, she's a cutie. So, go ahead and close this up. Put this back up as well. So it's been about 54 minutes. I'm going to end the video here. Um, I'm going to go ahead though. Right now it's 45. So it is kind of still low temp. So I'm going to go ahead and when you spray, like I said, just spray the greenery. Do not spray her, of course. Do not spray any kind of rubbing if possible. With her, because she hasn't really molted with me yet, I kind of like to slightly spray the rubbing in her little hide. So when she's in there, if she's in there for more than a day, I spray, but it's a light spray. So I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna spray everything. Spray the decor, spray the platforms, the trees, anything that you have. Go ahead and spray it. Okay. Oops. And of course, like I said, the moss likes to play games, so you might have to put a little more, but I think that would be fine. So I'm going to go ahead, close this up. And of course, the sides do get sprayed. Unfortunately, there's nothing much you could do about that. But let me see if I can get a close up of her. So there she is, right here. And little Charlotte, say hi. Okay, well, that's it for today. It's been a while. Oh, okay, you know what? I take that back. I found the other magnet that was missing. So I'm going to go ahead and put a water dish in. Um, so I'm going to put that. Oops. And as you can see, it does like to stick. Okay, so water dish, magnet, push it back a little bit. And there you go. And she is now in a water dish. These are definitely handy to have though. So if you can get one, makes it easier to pour in, especially if you have a cage like this. I have two other ones, and I had to get two of these because I didn't have another one. And my other one is way, way too small to have in something like this. So I got the little kits and they came with the dirt. The only things I don't like about these are the doors. They're hard to open and keep closed. And they're hard to stick your hand in and actually mist. So, with that being said, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you learned a lot. And I will see you next time. This is Denise and Charlotte signing off.